This has to be the shortest turnaround time SpaceX has managed between Starship launches. The minimum wait so far was between Flight 3 and Flight 4, where they waited around 3 months. But this time, SpaceX surprised everyone by announcing the next Starship launch just weeks after Flight 5. We're here to dive into the exact date for Flight 6 and cover some critical details about what's coming up. Before we delve any deeper, please make sure to subscribe to our channel for future updates about Starship and SpaceX's other groundbreaking achievements. SpaceX is now preparing for the 6th test flight of its Starship vehicle, aiming for a launch as early as Monday, November 18, 2024. The 6th flight will build on the successes and lessons from previous missions. One of the main objectives for this flight is booster recovery. Similar to the 5th flight, the Super Heavy booster will attempt to return to the launch site and be caught by the chopstick arms of the launch and catch tower at SpaceX's Starbase facility in Texas. This maneuver is essential for achieving rapid reusability of the launch system, which is core to SpaceX's mission of making space travel cost-effective and sustainable. Another objective is to test in-space engine reignition. The Starship upper stage will attempt to reignite a Raptor engine while in space, a test that is vital for demonstrating the vehicle's capability to perform deorbit burns required for future orbital missions. In addition to booster recovery and engine reignition, the flight will feature heat shield experiments. This test includes using new thermal protection materials and configurations, with sections of the heat shield intentionally left without tiles, to assess the performance of alternative materials. These tests are key for understanding how Starship can better withstand the harsh conditions of re-entry and refine its heat shield design. The final main objective is re-entry maneuvering. The Starship will re-enter the atmosphere at a steeper angle of attack compared to previous flights, aiming to test the limits of its flaps and control systems during descent. To ensure Flight 6 is ready for launch, SpaceX has conducted several critical tests leading up to this mission. On September 18, 2024, SpaceX performed a static fire test of the Starship upper stage, designated Ship 31, at their Starbase facility in South Texas. During this test, the 6 Raptor engines were briefly ignited to verify their performance and ensure readiness. The Super Heavy booster, designated Booster 13, has also undergone a series of static fires to validate the performance of its 33 Raptor engines and other systems. Looking back at the previous Starship test flights gives context for the upcoming mission. The inaugural flight, Flight 1 in April 2023, was the first integrated test of Starship and ended prematurely when the vehicle experienced a rapid unscheduled disassembly shortly after liftoff. Despite this outcome, the flight provided valuable data on the vehicle's initial performance under real launch conditions. The second test flight in November 2023 showed improvement, achieving stage separation for the first time. However, both stages were destroyed during their return to Earth, leading to further investigations and design refinements. The third test flight in March 2024 marked a significant milestone, as Starship reached space for the first time. Though it achieved this, both stages were lost during re-entry, highlighting the need for further development of Starship's thermal protection and control systems. By the fourth test flight on June 6, 2024, SpaceX demonstrated substantial progress. Both the Super Heavy booster and the Starship upper stage returned to the surface intact. The booster performed a boost-back burn and simulated a landing at a virtual tower in the Gulf of Mexico, while the Starship upper stage survived peak heating during atmospheric re-entry. Flight 5, which took place on October 13, 2024, was a pivotal moment. During this mission, the Super Heavy booster successfully returned to the launch site and was caught by the chopstick arms at Starbase. The upper stage demonstrated further improvements, executing a controlled entry and a precise splashdown at the targeted area in the Indian Ocean. Musk has been actively sharing updates about the Starship program on social media. Following the success of Flight 5, Musk expressed his excitement, stating, "Big step towards making life multiplanetary was made today." Musk has been actively involved in the political landscape during the recent U.S. presidential election, aligning himself closely with Donald Trump's campaign. He contributed over $100 million to pro-Trump efforts through his America PAC, aiming to mobilize support for the former president. Reports suggest that Musk is poised to assume a significant role in Trump's administration, potentially leading a new Department of Government Efficiency. This political alignment is likely to benefit SpaceX. Under the Trump administration, SpaceX secured lucrative government contracts, including partnerships with NASA for missions like the Artemis program. With regulatory constraints potentially lifted or minimized, SpaceX could advance the Starship program at a faster pace, with fewer interruptions. This support might allow SpaceX to focus more on technical development and achieve its vision of making Starship the most powerful, reusable rocket. SpaceX is already among the top companies that the Department of Defense spends most of its budget on. In 2022, the Department of Defense allocated approximately $24 billion to space-related programs. A significant portion of these funds was directed towards launching satellites. SpaceX handled about 70% of the military's launch missions this year, largely due to its reliable and cost-effective launch systems, such as the Falcon 9 and Falcon Heavy rockets. In 2023, the military's space budget increased to around $26 billion. During this period, SpaceX took on an even larger share of military launches, covering over 80% of these missions. By 2024, the budget for military space projects reached approximately $30 billion. SpaceX accounted for about 90% of military launch missions, establishing itself as the primary launch provider for the U.S. government. Now, the Department of Defense wants to take its partnership with SpaceX even further. They're considering the possibility of either fully taking control of the Starship program or making a heavy investment. Starship's unique features, such as rapid global transportation, high payload capacity, and full reusability, could offer significant advantages for military logistics and strategic operations. The Starship project has been a significant financial undertaking for SpaceX. Reports suggest that SpaceX has invested over $3 billion in the development of Starship so far. This investment includes costs related to research and development, production of multiple prototypes, testing, and the construction of launch infrastructure. Estimates for the total cost of the Starship program could range upwards of $10 billion when fully operational. SpaceX has funded the development largely through revenue from its commercial launches and contracts with private and government clients. The Department of Defense sees potential value in integrating Starship into its operations. The rocket's ability to transport resources anywhere on the planet in under an hour could revolutionize how the military moves supplies and personnel. Additionally, Starship's large payload capacity allows for the transportation of heavy equipment and bulk supplies in a single launch, streamlining complex logistics that typically require multiple trips. The Department of Defense has also considered using Starship for rapid satellite deployment. The rocket's lifting capacity makes it possible to launch entire constellations of satellites quickly. This capability would be crucial during a crisis when the military might need to replace damaged satellites or expand its communication. The Department of Defense has already awarded SpaceX a 5-year contract worth $12 million to gather data on the rocket's potential for transporting cargo and providing humanitarian aid. Transitioning from contracted missions to potential government ownership of the program would involve deeper integration of Starship into military operations. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you in the next video.